Hey, how's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful day. We've got some exciting news about the FIFAe World Cup for 2024 featuring Rocket League. If you guys have no idea what that is, number one, that means you probably don't watch my videos, so make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, notifications so you don't miss out on that stuff. But as a quick rehashing, a while ago, FIFAe announced a World Cup tournament for Rocket League. 16 countries in a true, actual country-based competition. We had the Intel World Open a long time ago that got canceled due to COVID, which means everything was online. That ended up not happening. It ended up being a regional-based thing. They were supposed to go to Poland and then play before the Olympics for $250,000. Unfortunately, that all went away. But FIFAe this time around is planning on doing a tournament. We still don't know when, but I would expect sometime at the tail end of the year after World Championships and everything else, where 16 countries are going to go and be able to compete and showcase who is the best country representation. And there's some complications with that, whether they're just going to send G2 for USA or not. We'll have to wait and see. But what we do know is that they have announced 6 countries so far. The first 3 that were announced on August 9th are Brazil, Spain, and South Africa. That is who we have first. They then most recently, yesterday, announced Belgium. Turns out Belgium and Germany, by the way. Germany, they have the colors in a different spot, and they're also horizontal. I'm learning culturally about things after I made a mistake on the socials. England, and then Saudi Arabia. Now, because we have 6 confirmed actual countries that are going to be going in, some things to remember and consider. Number one, if there is a large enough player base for those countries, they will do a qualifier. So there is a chance for countries like England, where England, some people may be like, oh yeah, just send oxygen. May not be the case. It depends on what these players want to do. If there's a qualifier, there's a chance that through the qualifier, because there is enough people in that space to go and compete and enough signups will happen, that maybe they decide to build a super team. And that's kind of where the conversation started to steer, is do you just send your team or do you try to build a super team? And this becomes more and more difficult when you start talking about France in particular, just because there is so many good players from there. I mean, you're talking at least, 15, 16 at least of where you could plug and play it. Do you just send Vitality? Do you swap in Vatira for Redosin and then add a Juicy? What do you build as a super team? We don't know, and while they haven't been announced yet, the ones that have, I have highlighted here, as you guys can see. And based upon the assumption and based upon kind of the focus, for Belgium, a lot of people are wondering Belgium. You've got a Tau, Astral, and Rise Fox. I always butcher the name. I forget if that's how you say it. And then Eversax, coach of the Gentlemates, is actually Belgian as well. So we do have basically what we assume that team is going to be. For South Africa, many assume they're just going to send the team that is going to the World Championship. I don't foresee why it wouldn't be. I don't know if South Africa is going to get a qualifier or not. If they do, you may see some sussy options coming out from a team that starts with the letter M. Who knows how that goes? But I assume that won't be applicable because they are Spanish, and ain't no way that team's going to beat the Spanish team. As for the Spanish team, I think you can find some pretty interesting stuff on how that stuff all applies and who's going to plug in. Our prediction is CRR, Atomic, and Stizzy. I think that's actually a very, very solid lineup. But you may see some different names slotted in. Again, if there's qualifiers, you can do as much as you want to have a super team sent. But if you don't qualify, then the other team goes. It just depends on if they are going to hold a qualifier for those regions or not. We will have to wait and see. Saudi, though, is providing us some unique things as well. Saudi has been rumored to where it may not be Clears and it might be Nalpo instead, which would be very interesting considering many of us assume a team in Falcons that is top 4 world class, who has yet to lose a single regional in any of the RLCS competition this year, which is crazy to think that it's still going on. There's been a lot of conversation about how long this offseason or this break between worlds and stuff is now. The break between the major and worlds is the same, is longer than what all of season 8 was, which is crazy. There's some threads on it on the subreddit. But there is rumors suggesting that the Twins don't play together and they bring in Nalpo. And it creates that conversation of, do we try to put our best players forward, or do we give up the chemistry of what we know works? Who knows? Many of us assume that, and myself, I would assume more than anything this will happen right before the holiday season at the end of the year, post Worlds. So you may see some early iterations of some roster changes, especially as teams start to build more and more around people from the same area. Selfishly, I really want Morocco to send a team because Drawley Nasatachi has so much potential and so much talent on it. Who knows what could be? But focusing in on the teams that are locked in, the countries that are able to compete. For England, I don't personally think you send Oxygen. I think you find someone like a Rise or a Jack or something to slot in and give us something different. I think it might be a better look. But who knows? It depends on what these players selfishly want to sign up with and how they want to compete. And then for Brazil, there's a lot of talent in Brazil, but why not just send Furia? That's kind of how we all feel about it. Some people are like throwing Diaz instead. Who knows what things are going to play out? Who knows what other countries are going to get announced? This is just kind of an assumed list. I could be completely wrong on these. In my previous video, I do address that the way they are selecting countries is based upon one, population size, how many people can actually sign up and play, what's going to be able to give us this best filtering process. And then the second thing is RLCS performance. They're heavily weighting how well RLCS results are. If there's a lot of country representation for a specific country in the RLCS, that is how they are selecting those. We say that, and I think Belgium is a prime example of that. So it will be very interesting to see on how the rest of these fell out. We have 6 out of our 16. We still got 10 to go. I'm excited to see how they play out. We're going to keep doing this and kind of formulating our opinions on these throughout the offseason. If you guys want to see these, they are on my RLCS doc that is in the description down below. The latest roster changes, news, and stuff like that is always updated. We just found out that Cash is actually going to become an unrestricted free agent. So as much as Resolve talks about wanting to stick together, it looks like Cash is going to explore their options, which makes sense based upon how the results have been. So again, the documents there's tabs at the bottom. Just click on the one you're looking for. But the FIFA World Cup is one of those tabs. And as these become official, I will lock them in and make it look pretty. So again, if you wanted to miss out on that stuff, as always, it's greatly appreciated. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Helps me out greatly. Leave comments on anything. Let me know what you guys think the team should be for some of these regions. I would love to hear your opinions. Or stop by the stream. It's always fun to have these conversations. That's going to do it for today's video. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.